After this video, you're gonna have a step-by-step guide of how to cover the entirety of English language this Easter, so you can box it off and not have to worry about it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna map out a revision plan. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start in reverse order, because they are worth the most marks in the paper. And the second thing we do is we're gonna write a creative and persuasive writing tick list. So for example, for creative writing, we are gonna pre-write out our creative writing, because that is the way that we're gonna guarantee a top mark before we even get into the exam. So the three things, for example, we're going to need for this. We need a structure of how to write up one. We're going to need to write it up using high-level vocab, so we'll probably need like a vocab sheet. And then we need to practice and learn how to adapt it to any question, because if we are pre-writing a piece of creative writing, we need to therefore understand how we can adapt it. If not, it's going to be hard to then use it in the exam. So for example, for each of those, you can go use your books, use your textbooks, or you can go with something like the Lightup Hub, and we've got it all done for you. You can go on the creative writing vocab video, which gives you a structure. We've got the vocab sheets, which gives you vocab for everything. And then we've also got videos on how to adapt it to any questions. So you know how you can adapt it and basically guarantee yourself 40 out of 40 every single time. And here's a little example of a review from a student who genuinely did this, and look at their results. Then for persuasive writing, we need to know a tick list of everything we need to put in our plan. So that way we've actually got a structure for how we're gonna approach the exam, because unlike creative writing, we can't go in, we can't know exactly what we're gonna write. So we can actually just use a structure up front of how we're gonna plan it, how we're gonna approach it, no matter what the question is. Then for the other questions, so questions 4, 3, 2, 1, I want you to structure it in the MELT format. M stands for marks and minutes, the E stands for explain, the L stands for lines, and the T stands for techniques. So what this is going to do for each language question is going to give you a really good overview as to what the difference is between the different questions, because it's what so many of you struggle with. With English language, yes, we can't prepare for it in the same way as literature, but you still need to know exactly what the question's asking you, what you're required to do, a structure for it, techniques you can use. You need to pre-learn that. That's how you revise for English language. People say, you can't revise for English language. You absolutely can. It's not as difficult to revise for, it's more practice, but you need to do that revision up front, so then the practice is worthwhile. So I'm gonna show you an example of how you can write up these flashcards for English language. Now, the little flashcard I'm about to show you, I've just created on the Lightup Hub. You can create it if you're a member. You can create your own flashcards just like this, but you can customize them to how you wanna look. I've just made them look like this. So on the front of the flashcard, you want to have something that says, give an overview of language paper 1, question 2, or whatever the question is. The hint that you want to put is use MELT. So you remember that you're going to do marks and minutes, explain, lines, and techniques. Then on the back, this is how I break down MELT. So marks and minutes, marks is 8 marks. I want to spend about 10 minutes. Explain, ask, how does the writer use language to describe X? The L is lines. And for lines, this one, you'll be given the extract. So I just made a note of that so I know what to expect. And then T is techniques, like what techniques are you allowed to use? Are you allowed to use language? Are you allowed to use structure? Are you allowed to use both? So that is the first flashcard I do for every single question, for like questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do the MELT structure. Then the second one that you want to do 2 different flashcards for each question, is you want to put your top tips and the structure you're going to use. Now, this is so important for English language. I cannot emphasize it enough. You need to have a structure you're going to use. Don't go in there blind. Don't just use pill for everything, because specific questions will be asking for specific things for you to do. So if you have a structure that already includes all of that, then you know you're ticking it off without having to think, oh, have I agreed with the statement? Have I put in the language techniques? Have I evaluated this? Have a structure that already does it for you. And if you're thinking, oh, it's really long to learn a structure. No, it's not. If you are able to learn loads of quotes, pre-learning a bit of a longer structure than pill will save you so much more time in the exam. And trust me, it's so much more worth it. The more work you do up front in the exam, the easier the exam is, and the more consistent your results will be. So on the front of the flashcard, it will say something like this. What are the top tips and structure for language paper 1, question 2? Then on the back, we want to write up our structure and our top tips. Now, our structure, like I said, it should include everything that you were expected to do in the mark scheme. And then the top tips are the things that you've got to bear in mind, the things that you need to remember to do, their little hacks, the tricks that will help you get the top mark easily. So again, this is just taken from the Lightup Hub, summarized from the videos, but the top tips we always say for language paper 1, question 2 is find 4 keywords that answer the question and do 2 paragraphs. Do 1 paragraph focusing on one of the 2 words and the other one on the other 2 words. Use what, how, why to analyze each quote. So that is my little top tip. Now, if you don't really understand that too much, check out the Lightup Hub or check out videos on this channel. about what that means, but basically we want to pick out 4 keywords that answer the question and we want to group them together. The 2 keywords that both would fit together, I want to put in one paragraph, and I want to use that for the other one as well. And now this is the important part. This is the must, that for every question, like I said, you should have a structure. Now this structure, again, I've just taken it from the Lightup Hub. We have it for every single question, but if you have a structure you've already done and you know works, you can use that. Whatever works best, just have a structure. So the structure we recommend on the Lightup Hub is PETA, ETA, Z, and do 2 of those. So I'm gonna literally write it down, and I'm gonna write down like point, evidence, technique, analysis, evidence, technique, analysis, zoom. Now, the little kind of 1-up, the 2.0 version of this is I'm just gonna put in brackets next to each part of my structure what I'm required to do, and almost like a little top tip or something to remember to make sure I do it when I'm doing my structure. So for example, with the evidence, I put embed it in. For the technique, I put language technique, because of course this is a language question, so I can only use language technique. And I would do that for all of my structure just to help me remember what exactly I need to do for each bit of the structure. Now, like again, if you want to take it a step further with this, what you could also do is a sentence starter on the flashcards as well. So again, using the sentence starters on the Lightup Hub or sentence starters you already have that you know work, you don't have to do this, but it's a really helpful thing that, again, just to put as much work in, as to front load the work as much as possible. If I already know what the sentence starter is I'm going to use, then I've literally, all I've got to do is just look at the paragraph that they give me, look at the extract, and just fill it in with the analysis based on that extract. So I already know the kind of things I'm going to be focusing on. I know I'm going to be focusing on language techniques. I know I'm going to be embedding in my evidence. I know I'm going to use what, how, why for my analysis. And then all I've got to do is actually analyze the extract. And then the 4th thing you want to do is you want to focus on exam skills. Now, like I said, this is not the same as literature, right? It's not the same in the fact that you can't pre-learn loads of quotes or you don't know the text up front, but knowing the structures, knowing your melt, then you need to apply it more. So more of your time for English language should be focused on the application of it. You'll front load the revision like we've just done there for each of the questions, but then it's applying it. So it's kind of 3 main ways that you can actually practice your essay skills for English language. The first one is analyzing the extract. So this is what I want you to do for language paper 1 and language paper 2. First thing I want to do is I want you to set a timer. Now for language paper 1, I want you to get 2 different color highlighters, one for language techniques and one for structure techniques. And I just want you to read through the extract and just highlight any language techniques you can spot, any structure techniques you can spot. And just practice doing that. And then thinking roughly what you would kind of say. If you're picking out a metaphor, what is the effect of a metaphor? What does a metaphor do? And how that links to the analysis you're saying. Now for language paper 2, I want you to get 3 different color highlighters. One for language, one for structures, and one for perspectives and opinions. Because that is what's required in our non-fiction one, so things that is real, because we need to be looking at the viewpoints of the writer. And then just by doing that, you'll be able to start to see patterns and things that you can pick out and spot, and then you'll be able to think about, okay, if I've just picked out repetition, what is the general effect of repetition? Oh, I know that it emphasizes something. So then I could think about how this emphasizes how he is sad, or emphasizes that the car is really fast, or whatever it is. Now, the second thing you want to do for essay skills is you can actually do a bullet pointed response. So you know how we would do essay plans for literature as a kind of quick, go through it, see what you know? You can do the same for language. So what I would do is, say for example, like I gave you that structure earlier for language paper 1 question 2 about the PETA, ETA, Z, what I could do is I could write that down and just write down briefly what I would kind of do for each of my PETA, ETA, Z. So for example, for my point, I might have that it's dangerous and fierce. My evidence, I might just put roared. For my technique, I might put verb. For my analysis, I might write what, how, why, and then the what is it creates a vivid image. The how, it shows the ferocity of the T-Rex, and the why, it shows its immense size and magnitude. And then I would just kind of bullet point down roughly what I'd say to practice getting in the swing of things, because that's less time consuming than doing full responses. Of course, full responses have a time and place, but this is just good to practice the skill of being able to identify techniques in the extract and kind of get used to using the structures. So that is my full breakdown of how to completely get through everything to do with English language this Easter. If you did like this, guys, please make sure to subscribe because it helps the channel more than you can know. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little link here to help you further with your English language revision.